Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Never No Shorty. First, apologies. Posted this last night. Work kind of got in the way of things, and I lost track of time, so I do apologise. But I'm back. I'm going to do one today, and hopefully do another later on today as well. But for now, we're talking about Dark Crisis, the latest of DC's crises, which they have quite a lot of. And we're going to talk about some nice things first, but I'm going to get into what I actually thought of this comic book. First off, I like the way it looks. It's a good-looking comic book. The art is fantastic. There's really nice page layouts in there. The character design is fantastic. The action sequences are really, really cool, even though you don't get as many of them as I'd have liked. Right. That's kind of out the way now. Let's talk about stuff about this comic book, because it's kind of hard to talk about a Dark Crisis comic book or any kind of crisis without dealing with the fact that we're talking about a story which has kind of already been done in a little bit of different ways here and there. Superman has already died. He then turned into two different energy beings and came back. Batman had his back broken and then he died, but he actually just went backwards in time and eventually caught up to the real world. I'm fairly sure when Hal Jordan died, he became a god, maybe Parallax or something like that. You can't really have a crisis without a Flash dying. Even Supergirl died. It's one of those things that in superhero comic books, it's kind of just, it's going to happen and it's not going to be permanent. It is very, 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 very rarely permanent for death in a comic book to be an actual death. That's not necessarily saying it can't be a good moment and you can't do something with that story. I enjoyed some of the stuff. I mean, yeah, like Heroes in Crisis could have been better, but at least it felt slightly different. Ended up being a murder mystery. Dark Crisis is basically let's kill the Justice League and then let's see what happens after you do that. And there's a lot of problems in that. For a start, you just have the whole idea of like, well, we just know the Justice League aren't really going to be killed. Like, it was bad enough they expect us to totally believe that Batman or Superman or Green Lantern was just going to be dead and that's it. You can't just go, oh no, we're going to do all of them. It could give the opportunity to do something great. And if I'm wrong, I will be very happy to be corrected on it, because you have a lot of cool upcoming characters, and it gives them a chance to really revitalize and reset what they want to do. But it's very, very unlikely. Not just because it feels like DC have got far much money to be made out of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman than they do out of Nightwing and Wonder Girl and Nubia, as an example. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I kind of went into it expecting this was just going to be 7 issues where we're going to end up back into some kind of status quo. But it could be an interesting journey. It has that potential. It could have done something cool. But it didn't necessarily do all of it brilliant for me. There's some nice moments where John Kent realizes that he's the one who should go and restart the Justice League. Of course, it's John, because we all know the Justice League is dynastically run. So the son of the leader becomes the new leader. That's absolutely fine. Wasn't Kara, which is very disappointing for my own personal reasons. But then they go and try and find all like the usual suspects, the more powerful, the ones you think would do it. But it's actually kind of nice for how many of them just say no. It does show a little bit of forethought that when the Justice League aren't there, who are like the primary defense, like a ring fence around the world, then with all the Doomsday cults saying, yes, see, Doomsday, the Justice League are dead, we were right after all, this is going terribly wrong, and start trying to do terrible things and murdering lots of people. Without the Justice League there, these powerful heroes actually have like really big responsibilities and can't just join what's effectively, I don't know, a little bit of a vanity project from Superman's kid. I mean, at one point in, I think it was either in Superman, Son of Kal-El or something similar to it, Clark literally turns around to his kid and says, yeah, the Justice League didn't do exactly what they wanted to do because it was kind of a vanity thing, and tells John to go and do something different. It feels weird that Joshua Williams has had him then go and do that exact same thing. But it's kind of nice how many people say no. But then we get to the real crux of the matter for me, because he goes and asks loads of people. And there's kind of a cool 12-panel page where it's him asking lots of people, some saying yes, some saying no. But then when you get the final look at who he's managed to get into it, you can't help but feel like, really? This is the best you can do? And that kind of makes sense. It shouldn't be the 18. Like, that's the point of the entire thing. But Black Adam is around, and there is kind of a nice moment between what's happening with him and Hal Jordan being a cop, which is kind of fun. But Black Adam literally just turns up, looks at this absolute motley crew of C-grade superheroes and anti-heroes, and just like, yeah, these are just bad people. Like, that one's going to stab you in the back, and points to Harley. And it's like, and that was going to be go crazy, and then stab you in the back. And she's like, oh, that's really mean, but yeah, I tell you, I'm going to do that. But still, it's mean. And all I could think when I read that was like, that was clearly an attempt to be funny. But it just isn't. It's predictable and disappointing. And in the comic book, Black Adam, a character from the comic book, effectively says that same thing as if he's talking to the reader and saying, this is just a letdown and disappointing, and it's not going to do what you want it to do. And it is so on the nose. I hope people are going to read Dark Crisis are going to get more than I did. I hope they're going to go into it with an open mind and expecting it to be a crisis which gets resolved, because that's all that comic books really do, is return to status quo. And I hope that they can enjoy the journey. But I was let down by so much of it. And then it's Black Adam at the end effectively turning to the camera and saying this is disappointment and it's not going to do what you want it to do. That was just too much for me, and I had to put it down. But as I say, I'm hoping somebody else gets something different from it, but me, not so much. I'm going to come back later on today. I'm hopefully going to do another one before I finish work today. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.